thought this was Esther Weke, I would forgive you. So Esther Weke like. Her name is Hallelujah Tekletsadik, and she's coming through with some beautiful, very traditionally inspired music from Ethiopia. Thanks for being here at the Upside with Mmatsheko Mosito until 4 p.m. in Central African time. So this is us, of course, opening gateways for you to get a sense of what is happening here on the African continent. In this hour, we're going to be catching up with our programs manager here at Channel Africa, Abongile Tomago, who's going to be joining me in studio ahead of the G20 summit that is taking place, and we're going to have a conversation with him about that, and of course the station's involvement in the work, as it were. Right now, though, the Living Rights Festival returns to Cape Town for its second year, bringing together thinkers, artists, activists, and community members for a wide-ranging program that looks at some of the most urgent issues that we face in society today. So, organized by the Institute for African Alternatives, the festival unfolds across neighborhoods. So these include the city centre, of course, Salt River on the list, as well as Observatory and Langa Township. Over 16 days, audiences will experience panel conversations, workshops. There'll be live music, theatre, photography, film, and so much more when we look at just raising the bar in terms of how we ask questions on justice, on human rights, and the forces that shape both local and global life, as it were. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about this festival and the opening sessions that are also going to be focusing on Sudan and Palestine, as I understand it. On the line with us, Living Rights Festival coordinator Nazeema Mohamed is joining me on the line. Nazeema, thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to Channel Africa.
Good afternoon, Mmatsheko, and thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and to have this conversation with you.
Right. I think perhaps let's start by establishing what underpins the existence of the Institute for African Alternatives and inspiration behind them wanting to curate a festival of this nature.
Well, the Institute for African Alternatives was founded by Professor Ben Turak, who was a member of parliament. He's passed on now. And his idea was to look at issues of social justice and human rights, but to look at possible positive alternatives for Africa and for collaboration across the continent to ensure that we build a continent that is for the people of Africa. And so the Institute basically does lots of public policy work. We work on economics, we work with parliament, we run forums for discussion on rights and social justice. And we also have an accredited academic journal called New Agenda, which is quite popular because it incorporates both an academic voice and a civil society voice, as in from nonprofits working, on the ground and expressing their views.
I think the work that's been done is quite noteworthy, Nazeema, at this time, because as I understand, this is only the second year of the festival's running, but the program is already stretching across multiple neighborhoods. And I want to talk about that. Let's look at how you are moving from different neighborhoods and how this sort of intentional geographic spread what does it say about your appeal to diverse communities?
Yeah, well, it's been fascinating for me because we really started on a shoestring budget last year, and it was a pipe dream. And it really had resonance in communities in Cape Town. And so this year we were asked, are we going to have the festival this year? And we had a number of interested parties, people who wanted to participate, who felt that it was an important festival in terms of what is happening globally. And so we have some key partners, like the University of the Western Cape, for example, have come in, their Faculty of Humanities have come in full force, and they really would like to to continue the partnership, which has been very positive. And then we have had, our partners like the Cape Cultural Collective, the Jazz in the Native Yards, the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign, the Institute for the Healing of Memories, the District 6 Museum, and the list goes on. These are all people who work on the ground with communities who are concerned about justice and rights in South Africa, in our own communities, but also what's the horror of what is happening globally. And we want to take a stand. We want to express our concerns. We want to take on citizenship diplomacy. We want to hold governments to account. We want international law to work. And so we want to push that agenda as citizens of Cape Town, citizens of South Africa.
All right, very, very important festival. The Living Rights Festival is what we're talking about as it makes its return to Cape Town as organized by the Institute for African Alternatives. We are in conversation with Nazeema Mohamed in her capacity as the festival coordinator. Let's take a break.
This weekend, South Africa will host the G20 Summit at the Nazareth Expo Center near Soweto. And Channel Africa will be right there to bring you live updates, interviews, and real-time insights from the main venue. And so, our regular lineup will be adjusted just a little bit for this weekend to accommodate the G20. On Saturday, the 22nd of November, the Oasis will broadcast for 2 hours. Out and About takes a break for a full look at the G20. After Africa Chart Toppers, our news and current affairs team bring you special live broadcasts in 5 different languages directly from Nazareth. And normal programming will resume at 8 p.m. Central African Time. And then on Sunday, the 23rd of November, the Oasis will also broadcast for 2 hours. Tech Africa steps aside for our news and current affairs teams to bring you special live broadcasts in 5 different languages. Then, Planting the Seed resumes from 1 p.m. till 2 p.m. Central African Time. Channel Africa, your window to the continent, connecting you to the world in an African perspective. Broadcasting in 5 different languages, connecting the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African perspective. The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
21 minutes past 1 p.m. Thank you. If you've just started listening, this is Channel Africa, and we are streaming audio visually on YouTube and Facebook. Otherwise, you can catch us on the DSTV audio bouquet, channel 802. In conversation with Nazeema Mohamed, festival coordinator for the Living Rights Festival. We're looking here at festivaling with a purpose, okay? The second year running of really bringing together people from various fraternities. We're talking thinkers, philosophers, artists, activists, community members, and this is, I guess, really taking community organization to another level, which is so significant. Nazeema, I want to find out about the opening session, because as I understand it, it's going to be tackling the crisis in Sudan and Palestine. Talk to us about the conversation and what you hope will emerge when scholars and activists and community leaders come together to reflect on these conflicts.
Sure. So it has been difficult deciding on what topic to start off with for the launch. And about a few weeks ago, Professor Mampela Rampele, as chair of the Bishop Tutu Intellectual Property Trust, released a statement on the atrocities and the horror of starvation and bombardment and rape and pillage in Sudan. And we've known all about this, but really the focus has always been, I think, from citizens here, more on Gaza than on Sudan. And we don't want to lessen what is happening in any of these conflict situations. But we thought that there really is a need for South Africans and Cape Townians in this case to really understand what is happening in Sudan. And we wanted to have a session based on the challenges she put to government. We felt that it was also important to put it to civil society, to say, what is this? What is happening? What are we going to do about it? And we decided to do this because of the rising levels of xenophobia. I've seen horrific posts by people in relation to othering, our friends, comrades, colleagues from other parts of the African continent, people who have all played such a crucial role in our liberation as South Africans. We seeing this horrible response to our own people on this continent who have contributed to our freedom, being attacked by our own citizens. And we felt that we needed to actually start unpacking, what is happening in Africa and what does this kind of exploitation and colonization mean, not only for the people of Sudan and Congo and so on, but what it means for the whole continent.
Yes.
So we're starting with kind of a historical analysis. We start with Professor Mampela coming in and providing the overview based on her press release, but then we're also going to the historical analysis with Professor Shamil Jepi, who is an expert in the area from the University of Cape Town, and also the head of African Studies, Professor Suren Pillay. We have Professor Patika Ntuli, and we also have Mary Tal, who is from the Whole World Women Association, is a Cameroonian refugee, lawyer, attorney, international expert in international law, who will be speaking about her own experience of displacement and her work with other refugee women.
Right. Very significant, role players in the space of justice, human rights, and also in delivering the message around what's socially possible for us as we move forward. But I want to talk about that. I want to talk about, you mentioned Professor Patika Ntuli, who is just absolutely incredible with his work in the space of artistic expression. So art, the role of music, theater, photography,
Absolutely.
is very significant as part of this festival. So talk to us about using the creative space as a tool to engage on themes of justice and human rights.
Look, in situations where we've had extreme fascism, we've seen countries and citizens use culture to express themselves and to comment on the impact of on the impact of kinds of injustices on their daily lives. And visual art, poetry, drama, photography have all played an important role in expressing, how we feel. And in South Africa, we have been incredible in relation to music and the producing songs and freedom songs that express how we feel and shapes how we resist. And so we feel that it's really important to kind of connect body and mind, and this left and right brain, and to bring them together in a kind of harmonious form to express notions of injustice and inequality, and to present alternatives and options for a different future. So we take the cultural expression extremely seriously. We don't want it to be on the margins and to only have talk shops, but to actually use people like Professor Ntuli, who has this amazing way with words and poetry. He's a remarkable sculptor also, but just his use of words in capturing the kind of essence of things is incredible. And so we're trying to present those aspects of culture. And we're also doing it through like an intergenerational lens. So we have a youth week starting on the 1st of December, and we're trying to kind of do a master classes on different forms of culture, but also to use popular education methodology to unpack things like justice and solidarity and xenophobia, and to start talking through those things and what it means for young people in disadvantaged communities in their everyday lives, and how they connect their own struggles with international struggles and how they express solidarity.
Absolutely. Very important. I mean, this is not only inspiring, but it's also a must. You know, it's a must. And I think it's so interesting that you are running this festival over a 16-day period. We also are looking ahead at 16 days of activism, which start on the 25th of November. Nazeema, just something I wanted to mention. But this is a very immersive journey. Should there be community members, people that want to contribute either by attending or to support this festival in any meaningful way, how can we get information should we wish to participate? And also just remind us of the dates as well, please.
So the festival starts tomorrow. It would be wonderful if people would attend who are in Cape Town. It will be at the Central Methodist Church on Church Street, which is where Green Market Square is, and where the Purple Rain March had happened, if you remember, way back to 1989. Those of us who are that old. So it starts at 5, and it's the launch of the festival. Then we go right through to the 6th of December, where we end with a concert called Echoes of Freedom. For information and more details, we have everything on a webpage on the Institute for African Alternatives website. And the web address is ifaza.org.za.
Okay.
ifaaza.org.za.
Okay. Okay, very important. If you can make it, it would be wonderful. It really would be for the Living Rights Festival as it makes its return to Cape Town for its second year running. Very important work that has been done by the Institute for African Alternatives. And also, I just want to encourage you to Google the Institute and find out the work that they are doing, because beyond festivals, the work is ongoing. It's not just about a 16-day occasion, but really what alternatives exist for us beyond the 16 days. Nazeema Mohamed joining me in her capacity as the festival coordinator for the Living Rights Festival that begins in Cape Town tomorrow. 1:31 on the digital clock. Let's cross to the sports desk with Figi Lelungwadi, who has the latest.
Sports.